Growing up, I never had access to cable television, so aside from PBS and Cubo, I didn't have much in terms of children's entertainment. The one saving grace was the Saturday morning cartoon blocks that aired on channels like the CW. The Saturday morning block is something that has been around since the 1950s. It only really started taking off in the 60s when stations realized they could make a shit ton of money off of ads and advertising directly to children. Limited animation was also starting to pop off around this time with studios like Hanna-Barbera, which made animation a bit more affordable. Voice actors were also a lot cheaper to pay than live actors. Combine that with the fact that one person can do a slew of voices for one show, and the formula was set. The model these blocks ran by was to have enough content to fill their time slots, and it didn't matter if they aired reruns because kids are dumb. Or at least that's what they thought. For the most part, things aired was just stuff stations had lying around, like old movies, shorts, comedy films, and sports. Cartoons were mostly on primetime television. What I want to focus on is the CW and its Saturday morning block, and its many changes and rebrandings until its eventual shutdown. So,
don't touch that dial now, we're just getting started.
As we take a look at the CW and the fall of the Saturday morning cartoon blocks, the CW for kids and its ever-changing names until its eventual shutdown was the block I grew up watching as a kid. The origin for this block actually begins with the story of a different block called Kids WB, which ran from 1995 to 2008. Due to a shift in advertising laws, the time slot was sold off to 4Kids Entertainment. Kids WB moved to the CW along with this. Kids WB aired for the last time on May 17, 2008, and was soon replaced by the CW 4Kids, which started airing on May 24, 2008. 4Kids took full responsibility for curating the content that would air for the block. A lot of what they aired were localized dub of anime like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dinosaur King, Sonic X, and Dragon Ball Z. They also featured American shows and even some random shows from countries that weren't Japan and America, like a CGI show called Cubics, which was South Korean. The animation hasn't aged well. 4Kids Entertainment was in charge of localizing a lot of the anime that aired, leading to a lot of changes in censorship during the dubbing process. The best example is the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. The most notorious example being the scene where two men hold Seto Kaiba at gunpoint. In the localized version, they just barge in and point at him, which is equally as ridiculous when you take into account this is all over a children's card game. Another change was the removal of any sort of physical violence and death, like characters getting slapped, or the creation of the infamous Shadow Realm, which upon second glance is pretty obvious for what it was, that being death. The topic goes a lot deeper than that and can be a video of its own, so I'll can it for now. Eventually, 4Kids rebrands to Toonzai to reflect the fact that they were airing mostly anime. Toonzai eventually got replaced by Vortex because 4Kids, being the ever so beloved company, got taken to court by TV Tokyo because they were making a fuck ton of money on the side and cutting them out of the profits. They later filed for bankruptcy. Vortex took the place of Toonzai and was run by a company called Saban Group, and aired the usual stuff along with some live-action shows like Power Rangers and WWE. It kept running until the announcement of its cancellation in June of 2014, with its final air date being October 4th, 2014. There are a lot of reasons for the fall of the block, and we're going to go over some of them for the sake of brevity. So in no particular order, here we go. Divorce. You'd think this would do the opposite, but no. A lot of parents, well, people co-parenting, would take their kids out instead of sitting at home and letting them watch cartoons. Helicopter parents didn't want their kids glued to a screen, home video, which, video on demand, the internet, cable TV channels like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and to top it all off, our good old friends, the FCC. The FCC being the final nail in the coffin, as they required stations to meet educational informative requirements, so the blocks got axed. After Vortex, the slot was taken over by One Magnificent Morning, which crushed me as a kid. It was just some morning show that pissed me off, so I never gave it a watch, and it's still airing today. So what's TV looking like now? Well, I have no clue. Considering streaming is killing it right now, I'd say not too good, but holding on. That's it for me. Hope you like this. Or not. I don't give a shit.